Madam Speaker, we shall be on the streets tomorrow in pursuit of our economic, political, and social rights.
The Senator of Hombay, my very good friend, Madam Speaker, has alleged that the cost of living is high now. Yet 8 months, 9 months, when his party leader and Uhuru Kenyatta were in power, the cost of living was even very high.
Madam Speaker, I want to stand with the many men and women who have been felled by police bullets while they are only exercising their rights that are enshrined in the Constitution. Madam Speaker, there are people in this country who wish to rule like Moi did. Unfortunately, they cannot rule like Moi because they don't have the constitution that Moi had. There are people who think that they can rule like Kibaki. Unfortunately, they do not have the intellectual infrastructure and capacity to rule the way Kibaki did. Madam Speaker, we shall be on the streets tomorrow in pursuit of our economic, political, and social rights that are in the Constitution. And Madam Speaker, those rights are not granted by the Constitution. They are not granted by the state. The state and the Constitution are mere custodians of those rights on behalf of the people of Kenya. And so, when you see people out there with sufurias on their heads, and Madam Speaker, I've also not seen people walking around with wheelbarrows as a transformational economic model. So just allow us to walk with sufurias the way you also bamboozled the nation with wheelbarrows. And today, that wheelbarrow, Madam Speaker, is not moving because instead of greasing the wheelbarrow, they have poured sand on the wheels of that wheelbarrow. They have poured sand by making sure that petroleum is inaccessible, Madam Speaker. Just this week, a parent called me and told me that the school has imposed an additional 10,000 fee on all parents. Why? Because the cost of basic food and commodities has gone up, and school principals have to make sure that their children eat. I know the children that are sitting in the Speaker's gallery today, the parents and the teachers whose children are here in the Senate. Understand me when I say that even schools are unable to make ends meet. Madam Speaker, law and order is a responsibility of the police to maintain. And that is a duty that has been granted to the police by the Constitution of Kenya.
Speaker, I raise under Standing Order number 98 and 105 on statement of fact. Senator Kajwang, who is my chair, is stating that the price of cost of living and food has gone up. Yet, 1 year ago, his party leader, that's Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, were in power. And the cost of unga was 230 shillings. Now, Madam Speaker, the price of unga has come down to 170 shillings. Why did they not demonstrate? Madam Speaker, and I can tell them, there is no one. He has said that some people want to rule like Moi or Kibaki. But we don't want to lose like Raila Odinga perpetually, Madam Speaker. We cannot. My point of order is that let the facts, understanding 105, Madam Speaker. And I want to tell the country, Madam Speaker, the illegal demonstrations being perpetuated by Azimio One Kenya lands is no longer about what they are saying about cost of living or the high cost of food. It is that they are power hungry, Madam Speaker. They want to take the power because they don't have an alternative, Madam Speaker. There is nothing they have given on the table. Madam Speaker, when Kenya Kwanza lands, Madam Speaker, in conclusion, just half a minute, when Kenya Kwanza lands, gay bipartisan, Azimio gay bipartisan talks, demonstrations that will be done. There is no destruction of property or any other form, Madam Speaker. The Senator of Hombay, my very good friend, Madam Speaker, has alleged that the cost of living is high now. Yet 8 months, 9 months, when his party leader and Uhuru Kenyatta were in power, the cost of living was even very high. Is it in order, Madam Speaker, when we had the price of unga was 230 shillings. Now the price of unga is 170 shillings, Madam Speaker.
Allow me to, in response, educate Senator Cherargei on something called fiscal policy.
And there are given you direction, Senator.
And there are two critical elements when you're considering fiscal policy. One is the rate of inflation, 2 is interest rates, and 3 is forex rates. Madam Speaker, all these numbers have gone up. And Madam Speaker, I think Senator Cherargei should
Please,
perhaps educate that we shall continue with our peaceful protests on behalf of the 50 million Kenyans who cannot afford a meal, on behalf of the Uber drivers who went to the street last week, on behalf of the Matatu drivers and long-distance truck drivers who went to the street last week, on behalf of the children of this country who cannot get as many meals as the children of Senator Cherargei, on behalf of the police who are being misused, who are being abused. Madam Speaker, we shall continue with our peaceful protest, and we shall do it on behalf of the many martyrs that have been killed by police using illegal and unlawful orders from a presidency and an executive that has stopped caring about its people.